So you can use Walrus to deploy your websites because Walrus is a decentralized store that allows you to upload any kind of file, and websites are basically just a bundle of files. So um, yeah, you can just upload your whole bundle, whether you use just HTML, CSS, whether you use React or SvelteKit or something like that. You just build the bundle, and yeah, it'll just spit out this kind of index HTML and a bunch of JavaScript, and then you can upload that to Walrus using the Walrus site tool, which is also built by the Walrus team. So that's one thing I want to go over this video, just publishing a Walrus site. But there's also the ability to redirect objects to Walrus sites, which sounds different from publishing websites, but then it's not really, because with Walrus you can actually make it such that uh, I mean, like, it's integrated with SWI and blockchains and stuff. So one of the things is you have your own digital assets, and sometimes you want your digital asset to have its own website, and whether that be like an object, a regular SWI object, or like an NFT. If you have a collection of 1,000 NFTs, you can have it such that every NFT has its own website without any additional configuration. There's no DNS configuration. It's just built right into it. Because with Walrus, you can have Walrus portals, which can host any kind of Walrus sites. And these Walrus portals, they basically have this service worker that works with them. And I don't know how exactly it works. It's like a portal that you can host your website on, and it's kind of magic. I don't know how it works, but it just does. So I got one site that I just deployed right now on Walrus, the testnet. It's a little game I built for the Walrus hackathon. It's called the Walrus Game. So let me just show you how that works. There's a minting website, and then there is the actual website where you have your own NFTs. So right now I already have one walrus. I can mint another walrus, and I can mint as many walruses as I want. And this whole site is actually hosted on Walrus too. So this is the object ID of the site, because the site is an actual object ID too. But yeah, so I minted 3 walruses, and each one of them has its own separate object ID and its own separate website. So if I click this one, it goes to one of my older walruses. If I click this one, it goes to a brand new walrus that I just minted, and this one is another new walrus too. So going back to my old walrus, the one I just minted like about an hour ago or so, just to show you how this game kind of works. It's a clicky game, kind of like cookie clicker. So you got your walrus and you got some penguins, but at first you don't start with any penguins. You click the walrus to fish some fish, and these are raw fish, and then you can cook them with the fire. So 850 raw fish turned into a bunch of cooked fish, and then using the cooked fish, you can buy a bunch of penguins, 20 cooked fish each. So I'm just gonna buy like 12 penguins, and then each penguin will passively fish for you. I think it was like every 7 seconds or something, it catches a fish. So that's just kind of the game in a nutshell. I just wanted to play around with the idea of walrus sites, and every walrus having their own website. I thought it was really cool. And yeah, so just to deploy that now, there's a couple things at play. So I'm just gonna close out these things. So there is the Walrus site tool. There's a CLI and the repo too. That is one aspect, and then there's the actual site itself too. So we're gonna deploy one of my other sites, Tuskpets. It's another game I made, just like the idle MMO. Um, yeah, so there's the contract portion, which is launched on SWI, and then there's the front end portion, which is the game itself, and then there's one other portion, which is the minting website, which is all stored in this repo. So it's going to get a bit messy, but yeah, let's try to navigate that. So this is the smart contract right here. It's SWI, and so this is the whole thing. It's a game where you can mint your own Tuskpet or your own walrus, and then your walrus can have skills that you can level up by passively engaging in activities like mining, fishing, diving, and all that kind of stuff. So the important thing here is if you want to, I mean, I guess this dives into a couple of things, but publishing a Walrus site is fairly simple. You just use a site builder. So you build this site, no, not this contract, but this Svelte site. So right here, I guess right here. So this is the package JSON for the site, and you just run npm run build. It's going to run a build for you. You can drag and drop this right into the examples, and then you can just Walrus site, like site builder, publish, and that will be good enough to publish a Walrus site. But the tricky part, at least I found, was to add the ability to redirect objects to Walrus sites, which is what we just saw with the penguin and the objects and stuff. So in the smart contract, the tricky part about that, I mean, the key parts to that was one, this thing, base36, visualization site, and the init function. So if we copy paste that and just define the init function, yeah, so the init function is the function that runs once the contract is deployed, and the key part here is that you have display, which is a standard on SWE that helps with stuff, the information you don't want to put on the object, but you need it for just display purposes. So we put the link, which is a B36 address. It's like encoded. Yeah, so I don't really know how this kind of stuff works. I just use it and it works. But the thing is, the ID of the object, because each object has its own ID, so that can be independently stored on SWE, is encoded using this like B36 function, which I just copied from the Flatlanders example. Let me see if I can find that right here. To B36. Yeah, so it's this function right here. It takes in the address and then it spits out the B36 address, which is much more URL friendly. And if you go back to the init function, okay, so we got the ID of the object, which is tied to the B36 address, which is used for the URL for the Walrus site. And then, yeah, I forget what this was for, but it was important, and yeah, we needed that. Yeah, I think we should just walk through that right now. So step one, I wrote these instructions, thankfully, back when I deployed it first. So there's 6 steps. You build the static files here, and you deploy it as a Walrus site, which is here. And then you update the contract, because the Walrus site, once you deploy it, you're going to get something back, like an ID. Yeah, let's just do this. Okay, so 1 is the Walrus site. Terminal 2 is the Tuskpets, just the contract. No, just the Tuskpets, the front end code. And then terminal 3 is the contract. So step 1 says to build. So I'm just going to be npm run build. Build. Okay. Okay, and there we go. Now we got to build, and then we could just drag and drop this right into examples, and we can rename this to, let's say, Tuskpets. So we built, now we deploy as a Walrus site. So publish this Walrus site. There's a bunch of configuration you got to do to set it up first, but yeah, it's definitely, I mean, simple enough. You just got to follow instructions and set up the thing, and once you have it, you have site builder, and then you can publish. So I'm in the Walrus sites directory right now, and I'm going to publish the thing by going to examples, Tuskpets, and I'm going to set epochs for 50, which is kind of the length of how long you want how long you want Walrus to store your files. Now this may take a while. Yeah, I think I'm just going to let it run, and because it does take a while. Yeah, so I'm just going to publish that, and then what we do next, it's going to return some kind of object or some ID, at which point we use it to update the contract, and then we can deploy the contract, and then we can deploying the contract gives you another ID of the package, which you can then update the front end code, because the front end code is linked to the contract, and you have to update the constants there, and then you make another build, and then you drag it to the Walrus sites again, and you can update your original thing. And then I think that should be almost the end of it. Yeah, it's kind of convoluted, but this kind of flow works out for me. And yeah, deploying the website right now, and then Tusk move. So this visualization site right here, that's all we have to update with the thing that, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna let it run. Okay, so we just finished uploading the site to Walrus, and then from that we got our new site object and our new website that we can visit. So that's just basically how you deploy your site onto Walrus. The next step is to deploy set up the redirecting object stuff. So the site itself is stored in Walrus, but then Walrus uses SWE for payments and coordination of stuff. So it returns this object ID, which we can now copy and paste, and then we can follow the next step, which is to update the Tusk Yeah, so we're gonna update the contract for the visualization site. So copy paste right there, save. Okay, yeah, there we go. And then we're gonna just copy this site right here just for reference. And yeah, I think that is about it. Actually, I want to check where this is used. Okay, this is not used, so it's okay if we ignore that. Um, okay, yeah, next step. We have deployed that, and then now we have to deploy the contract. So this is the smart contract. That is in terminal 3. We're going to publish that. And then now we have that. We can take the package ID and we can update our stuff, our front end constants. So package ID, we update that, and then we're gonna take the publisher. We don't really need that, but just for completion, that's for the display object if you ever want to update that in the future. This is the Tuskpet. No, this is display. We don't need that right now. And then the upgrade cap if you ever want to upgrade your contract. That's important. And I think, oh yeah, display, there we go. If we do need that. Okay, yeah, so next step would be we deploy the contract, we update the front end, but then the front end deployed on the Walrus site has not been updated yet, so we have to build it again and then update the Walrus site. So let's do that. Here's building. As built, and now we can drag and drop that into examples. We can delete Tuskpets and then rename this to Tuskpets. And then we can update the Walrus site. So instead of publish, we should just use update. We can use, oh yeah, we need the ID too, so I think that's just this one right here. Yeah, the ID corresponding to the Walrus site. So if we just change this from Walrus Game to Tuskpets, and then we change the ID to this one right here. It shouldn't take as long this time because it's just updating. The initial time, I think it took so long because I have a lot of assets in there, so it probably takes longer. But we will just see how this goes. And it's going. And okay, yeah, I think I'm just gonna let it run again. Okay, and we're back again. So we just updated the site, and we should have the site right here. It's unchanged. The site, the object ID and the site should be unchanged. So let me just double check that. We got the ID, which is 0C24. Somewhere here. Okay, yeah, there we go. And the site, yep, looks the same. So if we visit it right now, looks like something's loading. All right, there we go. Yeah, so it's not as optimized as like traditional, like CDNs and stuff, but like it is in testnet. It's still there's still lots of work to be done. So connecting our wallet right here, we're gonna mint a Tuskpet. Actually, I think we'll mint a couple just to. Yep, we got one Tuskpet right there, and then another Tuskpet right here. Okay. Not sure why it's still loading like that, but oh, that's strange. Maybe I should have updated something in the code or something, but let me just see how that works right here. Okay, yeah, so then it redirects, it uses the same site, it's just it redirects to a different object. So you see this is the B36 address, and then this is a different one, but then it still uses the same site and the same logic in the site, the same code in the site too. So if I connect to this one, yeah, we can see our skills right here. We have diving, we have mining and crafting. So if we go diving right here, okay, this is, there we go. I want to start diving for soft shell clams. And yep, for next 2 hours, it's just gonna automatically catch me some soft shell clams, and then it's gonna update the diving experience. And when I get to level 5, I can catch these ones, which heal more HP, and then I can use those clams to eat and stuff. And I can do the same thing with mining and crafting. Yeah, and the whole idea was just basically kind of have just a whole RPG, kind of like RuneScape, but for those people who didn't have the time to play it, you can just play it idly. So you can just leave this idle and then go do your work or something like that. But yeah, this was inspired by Idle MMO, and yeah, that's our Walrus site right now. We got the mint site, we got the actual site, we deployed it with Walrus sites, and then we got the contract and the front end and the minting page, and yeah, that's how you do it.